Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about the Gilded Six Bits, written by Zora Neale Hurston. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and/or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. So this work by Zora Neale Hurston is very interesting. The beginning of it is very warm and welcoming. The ending of it is also very warm and welcoming, but it is somewhat shocking. So from the get go, before we even meet the characters of the short story, we meet their home. Their home is it's really nice. It's a beautiful home. I mean, everything is whitewashed. Everything is clean. The yard is clean. The house is clean. Everything is spotless. It's beautiful. It's kind of like you're entering into heaven. That's how wonderful and welcoming and beautiful and just nice that this house is. And when you first start reading it, you're like, man, this is perfect. This is amazing. And then we meet this black couple. We meet Missy May Banks and we meet Joe Banks. They're this newly married couple. Everything is happening. Everything is fine. Joe's working. Missy May's taking care of the house. And it's kind of like the American dream, basically the American dream of having the ability to have a home, have work, have finances, and the ability to start a family and take care of that family and just live a good life where you're not hungry and not suffering. That's the basic American dream. Although this was written in the 1930s, this is a black couple. We're not thinking about everything that African Americans were facing in America at that time. We're facing on this couple that's very warm. It seems like a perfect world. I mean, when you're reading this work, this short story by Zora Neale Hurston, it just feels like a perfect world. And we're introduced to Missy May first. We're introduced to her as she's a very beautiful woman. Zora Neale Hurston describes her body, describes her looks, describes who she is. The house, the beauty of the house, and her own beauty is just like a demonstration of how what she stands for, both in her community and both in her marriage. Missy May is this beautiful black woman, young. The future looks bright. The house is spotless. Everything is wonderful. And Joe Banks comes home. He has a good job. He's paying for everything. He's taking care of her. His money is silver. Just keep that in mind. His money is silver. And it's extremely the love. You can really just taste the love in this marriage. They have routines. They play fight. We see Joe come home and he throws money in the house, and Missy May and all of her strength comes running out. They play hide and go seek. She searches the bushes and the yard and the trees for him. They play in the house, and there's this game where he hides candies, her favorite candies, in his pockets, and he hides gifts in his pockets. And when he comes home, she has to dig through his pockets and find these gifts, and it's just loving and just warm. They're having these wonderful, lavish meals that Missy May prepares. Everything is clean. There's even there's this segment where Missy May even tells Joe to go take a bath before he comes to eat dinner, because she's a real wife. She makes emphasis on that she's a real wife. And it's just perfect. They're playing. They're playful. It's a warm house, a loving house, a young house. Everything just seems like how you would want it. Everything is just perfect. And their routine is just something that's just, you can't beat it. We later learn within the story that Joe's mother doesn't approve of the marriage. And slowly, as things go along, things start to unravel. Basically, what happens after they actually have this dinner that I was talking about, Joe takes Missy May to the ice cream parlor, where they meet this rich black man from Chicago, and he's kind of like flaunting his money. He has gold teeth, he has gold pieces, he has a lot of money. He's wealthy. He's actually the owner of this ice cream parlor that Joe takes Missy May to. And his name is Slemons, and Slemons is, he's just going around town, going, to pretty much showing all the black people that he has money, that he has prestige, that he has wealth, that he has power, and nobody else has it. Now, before all the Missy May met Slemons, she was content with her life. She was content with her husband's silver income. Her husband didn't have any money, and the thing is, like, you kind of see some things start to stick out of this marriage. You see Joe try to imitate Slemons. You see Missy May. At first, she was very skeptical of Slemons and his money, but once she got a real close look of the gold that Slemons had, she kind of like she changed her mind. She's like, this is really good. This is a really good thing. I should have this gold. My husband should have this gold. So the money, the gold, really gets to her mind, and she starts to thinking about having some for herself. And this is where everything starts to go dark, or starts to go south, basically. So everything seems normal, but it's not, because what happens is, Slemons and Missy May, they pretty much make an arrangement where Slemons would sleep with Missy May, and she would get this gold piece. And basically, Joe is this man who's working hard long hours, working hard long days. And, from everything we've witnessed, we're like, this is a faithful, loving, wonderful marriage. Nothing could go wrong. And Joe is, he's thinking about kids. He's thinking about the future. He's thinking about his lovely wife and going home to her. And one night he goes home to his wife, and basically he finds Slemons there, sleeping with his wife. He comes into the room, and actually before he even goes into the room, he finds the house messy. He bumps into something. It goes, crashing to the floor. And it's unexpected, because Missy May always keeps everything clean and spotless. But pretty much one night he comes home and his house is dirty. Everything is a mess, because now his marriage is a mess, because he finds Slemons in his marriage bed and sleeping with his wife. Everybody's shocked. Joe's shocked because he doesn't know how to take this in. Slemons pretty much starts to get dressed and run for his life. Joe actually tells him to get dressed, and then he hits him a couple times on his way out, and Slemons runs out, and Missy May just starts weeping, starts sobbing, and the waterworks and all that kind of stuff. In all of his rage, this calm, gentle being, Joe is, throughout the work, he's all about being this wonderful husband, working hard, bringing home money, bringing home gifts and treats, pretty much doing everything that his wife tells him to do. And this is what he finds waiting for him one night. And he pretty much goes to sleep. He has this gold piece, of Slemons left at the house, and pretty much he keeps it. He pretty much tells his wife that, you wanted this golden coin, this golden thing. Well, I got it for you. And pretty much the marriage, it just looks gloomy and grim after this whole situation. The next morning, Missy May is thinking, okay, I don't have a marriage anymore. I should probably leave. But then Joe's like, are you going to make breakfast? And she's like, kind of like, this galvanizes her to make a really lavish breakfast. And pretty much what he does is, now Joe becomes this, he's going to hold this gold coin above her head. Usually it's his silver dollars on the table when they eat breakfast or when they're eating together, but now at the table it's this gold piece that pretty much symbolizes her infidelity, her chase for money, and how she literally slept with somebody else, and broke her marriage promises. So everything starts to It's on one side you have Joe taunting her and pretty much showing and pretty much telling her, see, this is what you did. This is what you did to us. This shows, you're not who we thought you are. You're not who you say you are. And the love and the warmth in this wonderful marriage, it's all gone. There's no more games, no more throwing money and playing hide and go seek, no more, searching for gifts in my pockets, no more anything. It's just a cold marriage now. She's still taking care of the house, but Joe is just not as warm, not as loving as he once was, and it just looks grim. From the outside appearance, they're still going to church and, participating in the community and going to ice cream parlors and doing all this and that and the third. But the love that used to be in the marriage is all gone because of what happened. And basically, months go by, and during one night, they end up sleeping together. They end up kind of like building their relationship back. But the gold coin is that never leaves. And after one night of Missy May sleeping with her husband, she finds it under pillows, and she's like, this kind of feels like I'm a prostitute, because he's holding this around, kind of saying like, I can pay just like Slemons could pay, because pretty much, yeah, Slemons was going to give her gold for sleeping with him, and I mean that is the definition of a prostitute. So Joe is pretty much holding this around, and when she finds it in their bed after they've slept together, she feels, not as valuable as she once was. It's a constant reminder of her betrayal. It's a constant reminder of what she did. It's a constant reminder of what she ruined. And then when she finds it in her bed, she actually examines it, and she realizes it's a gilded $50. So it's not really a gold piece that they thought it was, or not as valuable as they thought it was. And pretty much it's just this like really hurts her, and she recognizes what she gave up and what she did to her marriage when it was all for nothing, because Slemons was a deceiver. Slemons betrayed them. Slemons, he was never telling the truth about his fortunes. But I mean, the thing is, like, he just, Slemons, in one way or another, he does have, like, he has access to finances. The ice cream parlor is his ice cream parlor, from all we know. So he does have money, but we know that he was tricking them. We know that the gold piece that he was saying that he had, it wasn't a real one. It was a gilded $50. And so she puts it back into, after finding in her bed, she actually puts it back into Joe's belongings, and he just carries it around. He never really lets it go. And days go by, months go by, and she gets pregnant, and pretty much, there's this distance between them, right? There's this distance between them that just refuses to close, and it's because of this yellow coin, because that's what eventually that's what we start calling it, and that's what they start calling it in the story. So Missy May is pretty much horrified and haunted by this coin, and slowly Joe starts to work back towards forgiving her, which is not easy. And the several instances of what happens between them before they're back to what they were at the beginning of the story, it takes a long time. Eventually, what happens? We know that Missy May, she's pregnant. She gives birth. Joe's mother comes in and starts to help out around the house because, of course, Missy May is pregnant and she's giving birth. She gives birth to a baby boy that is, that looks exactly like Joe. And it takes him, time, but he does acknowledge the boy as his boy. But we're not sure. It kind of puts us in a place where we're not sure if that's his kid or not, because we're not really giving an accurate time on the point of conception and who the actual father is, but Joe does accept that that's his son because of how much the boy looks like him. Um, I mean, we can't confirm it, we can't validate it, but that will always be an idea, a thought in both of their minds of is this Joe's son? Because we really don't know. So basically, by the end of the work, what happens is Joe gives this gilded dollar to this white candy store owner, and he buys candy for his wife again, and he literally pretty much forgives her and goes back to his original ways. He acknowledges the boy as his own, and Missy May pretty much has to live with the fact that her husband is an amazing individual, and she pretty much slept with somebody for a gilded $50. She was deceived, she was tricked, and she literally almost destroyed her entire marriage. Now she does. There are several instances within the story where it shows us where she does. She loves Joe, but she was depicted as being this strong character at the beginning, but it was Joe that was the strong character at the end, because literally it was his decision. He could have left her because he had enough choice. He had the right to, because after trusting and believing and having faith in this woman and being married to this woman, doing literally everything right by this woman, to have this happen to you, he definitely had the right to, because what did he do wrong? He brought home the money. He wasn't stingy. He was loving. He was caring. He worked hard, long hours. He did everything that his wife said. He wasn't cheating on her. It's not like he drove her into the arms of another man. He did everything that he was supposed to do, but she just wanted gold, and she was ready to put her marriage in jeopardy to have some gold. So yeah, the story ends with him buying gifts and candy again. We don't see him presenting the gifts and candy to his wife, but by his actions, we can see that their marriage, pretty much is gonna go back to what it was, because he actually does present those gifts to his wife. He really goes back to his original self, and Missy May, because she was pregnant, because she had this kid, she really couldn't chase him around the yard anymore. But the love and the warmthness does come back, but it's a love that needs to be healed. It's a marriage that needs to be healed, because what happened was extremely deadly. And since he got rid of the piece, he got rid of the gilded $50. She doesn't have to be reminded constantly of what happened between them anymore. And even he can start heal now, because now he doesn't have to carry this piece in his pocket and always think about this infidelity. So yeah, in terms of analysis, in terms of deeper meaning here, this is a very the story is built in a way where you wouldn't think about deception, you wouldn't think about anything going wrong, but everything goes wrong. There's so many unanswered questions, because we don't know if Joe's son is actually Joe's son. We don't know if there isn't going to be any cheating in the future. We don't know if the trust will last, because is Missy May changed forever? Will she never do this again? If somebody else comes in the future and offers more promises, will she fall to those temptations? Because gold alone was enough, because she had everything. She had the love of her husband. She had a home. She had everything she needed, and in many ways they were completely happy. So their marriage is being slowly built back to where it is, but we're still stuck with a lot of questions. Joe Banks is a very forgiving character, and even though he's not portrayed to be as smart as the other characters, he's an individual that didn't fall for Slemons' tricks and deceptions. Missy May was portrayed to not be a person that was going to fall for those tricks and deceptions, but she extremely, in a very, obvious way, she falls for it, and I mean, it could have cost her a lot. If her husband wasn't forgiving, it would have been all over. This overall is a very interesting story. It really says a lot about this marriage couple and just marriage in general and the pitfalls of it and how it can be destroyed. So very significant. I guess the last thing I can say about this is that their relationship is really genuine. Even though that she left the silver for the gold, she went back to the silver because it was actually genuine. And again, when something is gilded, anything that's gilded is fake. Because if I gild something, I'm putting something over it to trick you, to make it look like something it's not. So that should leave you with a lot to think about when it comes to this story. That's my perspective. That's my summary analysis on The Gilded Sixpence by Zora Neale Hurston. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.